done. As you know, the promotion process and the training process was different in the past. So we're basically empowering you as officials to get better. So, you know, you'll get out of this what you put into it. So, are there any questions right now as far as people who are trying out and people who are just trying to get better so maybe you can come back next year and try out? Good. Everybody knows what the expectations are. Everybody knows what the requirements are as far as trying out at the end of the camp. And one more thing, I know we asked for your individual assignments or emails, but you have to make sure you match that in Arbiter so John can release games to you. You still have to go into Arbiter and accept your games so he knows you got your games. Good on that? And one more thing, we need bodies on Sundays. We need like 20 plus officials for the next, what is it, 4 or 5 Sundays?
Yeah, so
We're hurting on Sundays. The other days, not so bad. So, and the way we're going to do the games, you're going to get assigned the games. There'll be 3 into a court while on court and off court clinician. So that means one of you will always be off the court. We'll pull you off during light balls and we'll chat with you when you need it. And I would say the most important thing when we are talking to you, don't yell at us. If you don't like what we say, just store it away, throw it away, whatever. Just we're all there trying to make each other better. So I'm going to be better if you're going to make me better.
So crew 4.
There's going to be 3 campers, which would be, for example, you 3 and say me. I stay on the court, and then Stacy, for example, will be off the court and say, oh, one of you will always be off the court watching the game next to the clinician, and we'll be talking to you and telling you what, asking questions and stuff like that. So most importantly, ask questions, ears open, and have fun. That's the most important.
Hey, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I saw the sunshine this morning. Like I said, I was hoping for rain because if I'm going to have to be inside, it can be crappy out there. I know this is a great concept. This academy has not had a lot of classroom before because you can go out and referee, but you got to think a little bit too off the floor about what you're supposed to be doing out there. So I'm really glad that Mike put this together. So I was asked to talk about the rule changes, the points of emphasis, and 3-person mechanics in general. And we're going to see if we can cover that in the time allowed. Okay. Perfect. All right. I know a lot of these, this section is kind of like Sleeperville because it's all wah, 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 wah. But there's a few that actually mean something this year, okay? This one probably doesn't mean much to us. The rule book used to say you could use electronic devices now that there's limits, but I didn't see the new book until today, so I can't tell you what the limits are. Again, it's something we don't care about, but it used to say that the official scorer had to check with, if there was 2 scorers at the table, the official scorer had to check with the other one to make sure that they were the same. And now they're putting that onus on the non-official scorer so the official scorer can just do their job. This is actually one that's going to affect us. So if a player gets injured in the past and we beckon the coach on, but the player stood up and said they were fine before the coach came on the floor, we just play on, the player stayed in the game. Now it says that if an injured player has to be removed if a coach is beckoned, whether the coach comes on the floor or not. Okay? Which I don't know who came up with this. So be really slow to beckon the coach. Make sure you talk, I'll normally ask the kid, are you okay? Unless it's obviously, they're obviously not okay. All right? And this is a new one also. So it used to be if a player got blood on their uniform or on their body, they had to leave until it was cleaned up. Now they're kind of going more towards the college thing where they're giving the coach 20 seconds to take care of the blood on the kid if they want to stay in the game. So they can stay in if it can be cleared up in 20 seconds, not 20 minutes.
I've never seen one that can be cleared up in 20 seconds.
Band-Aid.
Well,
yeah. Well, you got to give them time to get to the bench, and then it depends how fast the crew is, but yeah. Okay. Okay, another one, I don't think we should be in the uniform business at all, but right now on the front of their jersey, you couldn't have images above the numbers, you had to have letters, and now you can actually have a logo up here instead of the name of a school or whatever. I think this is a good one. Basket interference, like if anybody touched the net before, it was automatic. It was basket interference, or theoretically it was. And now this is more like, when a kid slaps a backboard and we have the discretion to say, well, did that affect the shot or not? Well, it's the same thing now with the net. If they touch the net and it doesn't have any bearing on what happened with the shot, then it's play on. Coaches are going to bitch about that, so just be ready. Let me see. Okay, so there's a. How many of you guys watched the women's championship game 2 years ago, college championship game? And there was the play where Caitlin Clark was pissed and she threw the ball, instead of giving it to an official, she threw it off the floor, and so she got a technical foul, a personal technical foul. Well, out of that has fallen all these rule changes in all the rule books, and this is what's happening. So now they're saying if you fail to immediately pass the ball to the nearer official, you get a warning, and then it's a delay warning for the first time, and then a team technical for the second time. So it doesn't affect the player. So they're not going to get in one of their 5. Okay? So. Yeah.
It's different if they spike the ball, right?
Yeah, this is just if they're not given the, well, if they spike the ball and they don't give it to the official, I still think that's a technical, regardless.
What if they throw it at my freaking head?
Say again?
What if they throw it at my head?
I would call that a technical foul because that's a behavior issue. But if a kid's just, again, don't like with all these rules, you got to apply them as they pertain to that situation, right?
Is this for the whole team or just that same player?
What do you mean?
So like if one person fails to go to the official,
Right.
it's a warning, but if it's the same person again, or is it another?
Anybody. Anybody. Okay, this is going to be a gooder. This is going to be we've got the flop rule now. So the book said forever that if you fake being fouled, it's a technical foul. But how many of us have ever given that technical foul? Not me. No. Okay, so now what they're doing is they're saying, okay, the first time you see any player on the team fake a foul, it's a warning. The second and third and fourth and 12th times it happens, it's a team technical foul. Okay?
So if you say it's a warning, you warn the coach then? Is that what you do?
I know what we do at the college level, but I haven't seen the mechanics book this year, so I'm not sure how they're going to adjudicate it. No, typically what we would do is like it happens during live play, you give the signal, but you can't stop play for that. And then at the next dead ball, you report it to the table. Okay, so I don't know if it's going to be the same way or not, but
Mike said it's going to be the same.
Say again?
Mike said that's what we're going to do in high school.
Okay, so there you go.
What's the signal for that?
This.
Oh,
You just go like this.
Go like this. Yeah. That's not it hasn't come out yet.
I have it. I have a picture.
You do?
Yeah, I do. Just,
Stacy, so you blow your whistle at the first dead ball after you report it.
yeah, you report it. Now, if you have control of the ball, you don't have to blow your whistle, I don't think, but don't hold me to this until we get the actual word from the WOA. Okay?
I have a if when we get the warning and then if my partner quarterback a lot or something like that, he's gonna walk.
Double whistle.
Double whistle on the same play.
Yes, someone is called like foul.
You can't have a foul and a flop on the same play.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because if there's minimal contact but it's still a foul, then you can't call a flop. And if you call a flop, then you can't call a foul because you're faking being fouled. So you have to decide what it's going to be.
kind of my name is like, not I call it, my partner is like, call it, sometimes like, they don't, so we can go double call.
If he calls this and you call this?
Yeah, I call it like a flop, but my partner says pound. Sometimes we just ignore the flop.
There won't be a double whistle because you don't blow your whistle on the flop signal.
That's correct. But if he goes this and his partner's calling to foul on the same play, we got to talk. They got to figure it out.
Oh, okay.
We were together, that's when you just talk to your partner.
Did you have a question? Anybody? No more questions? This is going to be this is hard because we had a hard time being consistent with this at the college level, and at the high school level we have experience levels that are this broad, and so it's going to be really hard to be consistent. Just remember, once you call the first flop, then you're kind of penned in, you got to call the next one. So make sure that the first one you call is legit. I'm not saying they're not going to do it because they flop all the time, but just be judicious.
That's going to be something you talk about definitely this year. How are we going to do that? What are we going to do after?
I know from watching college basketball, I've seen more bad flop calls. I mean, it's right up there at the top. It's like, I don't know.
Well, and it's going to happen here. We're going to, and you know, we called a lot of bad flops at the beginning of the season, and then over time, you know, they said call the elephant in the room, and then they said call the pink elephant in the room. You're like, it has to be, you know, obvious. So, but we know these high school kids flop, so we just got to call the legit ones. And if you're not sure, what I do, if a kid might flop, maybe not flop, I'll just call a block. Try to send a message, and that one is right to them, right? It's not a team, anything, it's a personal. Okay, out of bounds. The rule used to say that if you touch anything out of bounds other than a player, a human being, that you were out of bounds. Now they're saying that if you touch a human being out of bounds and it gives you an advantage by keeping you in bounds, like if you're losing your balance or something, that you're also out of bounds. It's kind of logical. Okay, and you know the old hold the ball, count 5, dribble, count 5, like our arms are going to fall off. Well, right now this isn't, I talked to Mike the other day and he said it's not been decided by the WIAA, but it seems like we might be going away from the 5-second on the dribble.
No.
What's wrong with that?
Because this last weekend, they were dribbling forever.
But the shot clock's going to run out. See, this past weekend we didn't have a shot clock.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll see. I don't know. Have you heard anything different, Mike? Nope. Okay. Okay, so all the pregame stuff of names not in the book and dunking and this and that, basically all the tees are going to offset if, you know, if both teams do them. Instead of shooting, it used to be we had to shoot everything almost. And now if this team gets three pregame technicals and this gets 2, then 2 are going to offset and we'll just have 1. And we're going to start with a jump ball and the head coach doesn't lose their coaching box, which to me makes a whole bunch more sense.
The head coach not losing the coaching box is a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to start the game that way. So, again, they're changing. This is all in the interest, I think, of the coaching box. So if somebody tries to dunk a dead ball, instead of having a bench technical in which the coach would lose their coaching box, it's a team technical, and so they're not going to lose their coaching box. Make sense? Steve?
Sorry, for the one before that,
Uh-huh.
is that saying the game will start with a jump ball like always? So even if there's only one team tech prior to the jump ball, we're still going to start with the game with the jump ball?
You know, that's a good question that I had, but I haven't seen the books until like this morning, so I'll look it up and I'll let you know. It sounds like it because they make it sound like an absolute, but I'll find that one out for you.
It just sounds like pregame offset and then jump ball.
Yeah, but if you have like 3 and 2, there's going to be, then they're not offset. Then they're not offset though, so then I would think that team would shoot their 2 and get the ball. That's what I would think, but I don't know. Yes?
When you said down something dead ball, That's from the bench, like during the pregame warm-up, timeout, or halftime.
Or if you call a foul during the game and the ball's dead,
No. Let's just say, you know what happened? I caught a team. After I blew the whistle during live play, okay, my partner reported, my partner blew the whistle. Okay, he was going to report it. He just picked up the ball, dribble to the end, got the ball. I caught it, teed up that. That's not a dead ball. But for what you say, is it just pregame warm-up or halftime warm-up?
it's the whole game when the ball's dead.
So-
During the game, like your situation, right? You call a foul,
Right.
kid takes the ball and dunks it.
Right.
That applies.
So that's just it will be a team T.
Team technical.
Okay, and the coach, okay, all right.
No loss of coaching box. This is awesome. Usually the rule changes, people don't ask a lot of questions. Okay, so there's 3 points of emphasis this year. The first one is the warning for delay. What are the delay warnings? There's 4 of them. Anybody can tell me?
After make shot,
Don't touch the ball. What else?
Throw in,
Huh?
throw in, you say,
What about the throw-in?
delay, or the defender reaching across the plane.
Reaching across the plane.
Huddling in the lane, you're free throw.
Huh? Huddling.
Not handing the ball to the official in a timely manner.
We got those.
Not reporting to the free throw line, or free throw lane line.
We didn't get this one. You know what this one basically applies to? If teams get on the floor and they huddle up and they talk to their coach and then they get water on the floor, and then you have to take extra time to clean it up, that's a warning. That's what that one is. And then that one's new this year. Okay? So let's make sure that we handle this stuff. A lot of times we're really bad at this. We just take that extra time and clean it up, and it needs to be applied just the way the rule's written. Okay. Again, yes?
Can you put the last slide up?
I suppose I could. Hold on.
So if we give them a warning for not having the court ready, and then there's a throw-in playing violation later, that's technical.
Yes.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be 2 of this and 2 of this and 2 of this. It could be the second one of anything. Okay.
Question on that not being ready, on if the ball's being inbound, instead of a warning, the official plays the ball on the court if they didn't report.
Okay, that's a different concept. You're talking about if the team doesn't come out of their huddle in time, right?
Right.
Okay, this is for the court's not ready to go. This is specifically, I think it only applies to like water on the floor. Or if they bring out little chairs to sit on, some teams do that, then if they're not off the floor, like when you want to go, the court has to be ready after the second horn. Yeah?
randomly, if there's a band on the court or a band, or they're doing some event on the court at all, is that?
A band?
Like, I say band, but it's like, if there's a, like.
Cheerleaders?
What?
Cheerleaders?
Whatever it is, would that go against the home team? I assume?
I'd be careful about that one because the coach doesn't really control that. You could tell the coach, please talk to your band director or your whatever because we can't have that. They should help you out. I don't want us to go out there being morning and tea happy. It's just we need to apply the rules as to keep the game going. Anybody else? Okay. These are the things that we have to. It would be useful if you can remember these 3 things. Because when you explain why you called a flopping either warning or tee on a team, the coach is going to know what their kid did. Okay? These are all in the rule book. They're all in the points of emphasis section. The head bob thing, right? Somebody's dribbling along and the defender's like that. Overly embellishing the impact of incidental contact, pretty much on drives to the hole. and doing anything else to make the refs think you've been fouled when you haven't been fouled. And to actually call this properly, we're going to have to referee the defense. Because if you're not, you're going to be fooled and you're going to call a foul. Okay? Another thing that I've done in the games I've had that this has been a rule in is I tell my crew before the game, don't call a flop unless it's in your primary coverage area. And the reason I say that is because you'll probably have seen the whole play if it's in your primary coverage area. But if you're somewhere else and you haven't seen the whole play and all you see is the thing at the end, you have no idea. Okay? So it's just something, that's just me, that doesn't say in the rule book, but that's just what I do. So the first instance is a warning, and after that, a team technical.
Dave, quick question on that. The ball handlers have gotten the habit of doing that, like that, when they feel like they got hit or contact, the ball handlers will pop up or further attack.
That's a warning. I've called it.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it has to be a for real nothing.
Yeah.
You know, if they're embellishing something that already happened, then is it a foul? Should you call a foul? You have to decide.
Yeah. If that's happened, that situation where they're like, hey, and they do that and they keep going, driving and make the basket on the next dead ball, do we go to the table or we tell the player themselves?
If you're going to report a warning, then at the time it happens, you have to do this at that moment. And then after that, I believe we're going to, on the next dead ball, we're going to go to the table and report a warning.
And you should probably talk to your crew too at that dead ball.
But again, I haven't seen the mechanic on that, so I can't tell you exactly.
Now, are we telling the coach that we gave because sometimes they may not be paying attention to us. We were going to tell them like we gave the warning from the flop and they go back to the spot.
I would, if you report it to the table, the coach should hear. Warrant, you know, like when you report a foul, right? So if they're not going to listen, then that's on them.
And then what's the sequence of the, like?
So here's the signal. See, I got it out of the.
Yeah.
So what's the sequence of what?
The mechanic part. So
Okay, so the kid that flops,
yes.
and you stand there, and it's a live ball, and you go boof. So everybody should see that. Maybe they won't. And then at the next dead ball, after whatever the dead, you know, if there's a foul call or whatever, they're going to report all that. And then you'll just go over, I think, and just say, warning on white for flopping. Because I don't think you can, giving a number doesn't mean anything because it's not on them. Maybe the book's going to say to give the number so that the coach knows exactly who did it. Again, I'm not sure. I'm sure Mike will tell us at our first meeting, or somebody will tell us. Because I just haven't gotten that information yet. Okay?
Sorry, I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I don't do this wrong. So, if my partner has a foul, and that's the dead ball. So they report their foul, go back to the spot, and then I come over, say as the C or D, whatever, and give my warning. And go back to my
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Go back to your spot, you don't become table side.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're not calling a foul. You're just reporting it to the team.
Okay? Again, this is going to be a work in progress. I want to go, hold on a second. I've got some fun clips for you guys. Here we go. This is just to make you laugh, but I was looking for flop videos. Come on, that's funny, right? Okay, there's that one, and then there's this one.
I saw that
This is more like what we see. Like, we see this kind of crap in high school kids. That's a flop. I'm sorry. Just a little levity. Let me go back here.
We should call that the LeBron James fraud.
I'm trying to find it, because I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Okay, so now we're going to get into the three-person part. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on terminology, but I think it's important that we know what strong side and weak side and ball side are. Okay? So ball side is obviously where the ball is. Strong side is dictated by where the side that the lead and the trail are on. And weak side obviously is where the C is. And we typically want to make ball side strong side. We want the lead to be on the side where the ball is. Okay? This has evolved over the years. It used to be follow the posts. It used to be, there were all kinds of things, but we really want to be ball side most of the time. Okay? We'll talk about those when we get there. I'm going to skip some of this stuff because I want to talk about this. Okay, we all have this engraved in our brains, right? We all know what this is? Anybody not ever refereed a three-person game? Okay, I'm going to go back. Hold on. I made some assumptions here. From current slide. Okay, pregame. The U1 watches the home team warm up. The U2 watches the visiting team warm up. Okay? When we're doing the jump ball, the U1 stands closer to the table, 28-foot line. The U2 is over here, 28-foot line. So this person chops the clock, watches the jumpers, watches the jumpers, and if there's and pretty much the referee just tries to stay out of the way. Referee pretty much can't do anything, okay? I mean, if you see something, you can call it, but I've never called anything as the referee. This person can call the jump back, just like in two-person, if it's tossed really crooked. And we have to be really mindful of the quick over and backs to start the game. Okay? Yeah?
Stacy, when I was apprentice, we got the mechanic book, the three-person mechanic book. And I learned that several years ago that we read that we don't have anymore. So are these basic materials available to the new officials online?
Well, don't we have a mechanics book still?
It just, it's the 22 to 24 mechanics book.
So they all
Yeah,
they all get a copy of it now?
And I have a copy online.
Okay, yes, okay.
If you don't have a copy, just email me at PNBOA.
Or you can talk to me because I have a bunch of training materials. Okay. On the jump ball, I know there's a lot of arrows and stuff here, but the bottom line is, if the ball goes this way, this person is closer to the end line than this person, right? So this person's going to become the lead, and this person's going to become the center. The referee always becomes the trail. The tosser always becomes the trail, unless there's a really weird scenario that I don't want to talk about. If the ball goes that way, then this person's closer to the end line, so they become the lead. This person becomes the C, tosser becomes the trail. Sometimes there's really weird situations, and you just got to make sure that there's one person in every place. When the ball gets tipped backwards, and just weird stuff happens, like we know.
The point is, you're looking at your partners after all this happens. If something weird happens, you basically fix it.
Okay, on timeouts. On 30-second timeouts, the person who's going to inbound the ball is going to stand where the ball's coming in, and the other two are going to stand at the top of the arc here. And on 60s, we're going to stand on the blocks. Okay, makes sense? If we need to talk, make it really quick, and then get back to our spots. And it's a good time when we're standing here to make sure that if subs report and so forth, they report on time. There's things we do besides just take a break, okay? Let me see, timeouts, positioning, we did that one. Okay. So line coverage in the full court, so the trail has their line, right? And they have the back line. The center has their sideline, and the lead has their end line. Okay? Make sense? In the front court, the trail also has the over and back line. Center still has their line, lead still has their line, trail still has their line. Okay, that was really quick. Everybody got that? Okay, primary coverage areas. Lead has the purple, trail, center. And I think there's a slide, so I won't say that yet. So we'll talk about the trail really quickly. I have some clips, but I want to go through the words really fast first. So the trail trails the play all the time. You want to be a little behind and a little to the side. Some people say 2 steps back, 2 steps to the side. Some people say 1 and 2, whatever. You just want to be a little to the back and a little to the side. In the front court, you want to start at the 28-foot line, shoulders at 45 degrees, so you're able to see all the 10 players and the 2 other officials. In the front court, this has evolved also. It used to be that we wanted to always be behind the last person, the farthest person in the front court. Now the philosophy is they want us to stay even with that ball handler so that if there's a shot or something, we're going to be able to see through the defender, see through the 2 players, okay?
This and this.
And this go under shooter to see point of contact. I'll show you a clip of that. Basically the same thing. If the basket's there and the shooter's here and I'm here, I can't really see any contact here. I mean, I might see it up top, but if I get underneath the shooter and look in between them, I'm going to have a better chance of getting a good look at the play. Okay, that's what that verbiage means, go under the shooter. Most of the time we want to be outside towards the sideline and referee onto the floor. There's very few times where we're going to have to get on the floor and referee towards the sideline to see through. Once in a while it happens, but we don't want to be there because we don't want to get run over or interfere with the play. Okay? The stay connected to primary defender is about drives to the basket. So if I'm the trail and I have the ball matchup and they're going to the hole, I don't want to stand where I am as they go farther away. I want to move. Now, I'm not going to go all the way into the key with them, but I want to move with them as they go towards the basket so that I'm mentally connected to the play and willing to blow my whistle, because I have that primary defender as my primary person all the way to the basket. Okay?
Will you say that? We used to go wide on that to get a better look?
If I need to. Yeah. Step onto the court as ball moves to C-side. This is a really temporary thing. Again, you just want to stay, if there's a dribble away from you towards the C, you don't want to just stand here and watch it go away. You want to move with it a little bit until the C picks it up and then get back. Okay? And this is one of my little pet peeves. Both the center and the trail, when the ball goes up, we should take a step down towards the end line. Gives us a better look on rebounds, keeps us from bailing out before the shot and rebound finish. Okay, so every time it should just be an automatic step. The center official, run with the pack. That kind of makes sense, right? You don't want to get way ahead of them. You want to get behind them. You just kind of run with the people in the middle of the floor, the players in the middle of the floor. In the front court, your home position is the free throw line extended with your back to the sideline. A lot of people who are new to 3-person tend to make that like a mini trail, because in 2-person the trail's at 45. But we really want to keep our back to the sideline and have the look right through the paint. Move up and down the sideline again with our back to the sideline, a step or 2 each way. Here's one. I think I have a video of this one. So when the ball comes to your side, don't get in the habit of automatically stepping up to see through, because then what happens is we have 2 trails and a lead. So if you need a look, it might be the better look to go towards the basket, go underneath this way to get a look. Does that visual make sense to you? Okay, because then you're not forcing the crew to do anything they don't want to do. If there's only that matchup there, why would the lead want to come over? okay? So just don't automatically move high. Take a couple steps onto the floor if most players are on the other side. Again, it keeps you mentally engaged with the game. If the lead does rotate, and we'll talk about rotations in a minute, but if the lead does come over to your side, don't automatically think you have to become the trail and move away, because the reason why the lead's coming over is probably because you're engaged in the play, right? You're refereeing a matchup. So stay with the matchup. It doesn't matter if the lead comes over. And then when that finishes, then you can go up to your 28-foot line or your spot. And then be ready to help the lead on out-of-bounds calls and curl plays, which we'll talk about in a minute. Okay, lead, hustle, because you're the trail, ball gets turned over, now you're going to be the lead. So you want to get down, you want to stay ahead of the players. Your starting position at the lead, when you're coming down in transition, you want to assess. Is the ball on my third of the floor? Yes, well then I'll go to like near the 3-point line, that's called wide out. If the ball's on the other side of the floor, you want to initially start at close down, which is like a step outside the paint, okay? And then from there, we're going to mirror the ball. If the ball's on your side of the floor, you're going to mirror just like in two-person. I already mentioned this. This is your biggest role in life, to referee secondary defenders on drives to the basket, okay? When you do rotate, and we'll talk about rotations in a minute, you're going over because the center needs help. But you don't need to referee what the center's refereeing. You want to keep your eyes in the paint. So let's just say, here's the key. And I'm the lead, and the center's over there. What happens with new officials a lot is they see that the C needs help, and they're watching what the C's watching all the way across. And what you want to do when you go across is you want to keep your eyes in the paint, because that's your responsibility, and let the C do their job. Okay? And again, don't rotate. If you start rotating and a shot goes up or a drive starts or there's a skip pass across to the other side, just back out. Okay?
So if there's a post-up play on the block, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you tend to want to rotate over to watch that, or just watch it from the other side?
I would like to be there before it starts. Okay, so if the ball swings over to the C side, I want to rotate right then. So when the dump pass happens, I'm already there. If the ball gets into the post and you're on the other side still, yeah, I'm just going to stay where I am. Okay, drives to the basket. If the drive starts in the trails, the trail has the primary, the lead has the secondary. Seems pretty basic, but we have to be very disciplined as the leads to not referee the primary defender. Drive originates in the center's area, center officiates the primary, lead officiates the secondary again. This is really important, even if they're outside the key. So just imagine a C-side drive. The C has the primary defender. The lead is looking for a secondary defender, but the secondary defender is out of the key over on the C side. It's still your play. Who else is going to get it? Okay? Pass and crash, we all know what that is, right? The bottom line, this is the bottom line. No matter what happens, drive into the paint and there's a dish, the lead just stays with the crash, and either the trailer or the center is going to pick up the pass. Okay? Okay, let's look at some clips. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Are we going to get a copy of this?
I can post it. Yeah. I'll talk with our website people and put it someplace where you can look at it.
We're going to put the whole video up on the website.
Okay.
So on that lesson, Luke says with the crash, if the crash, how much are we calling if it's like a defender's there, if they're set and everything, they're passing it, but they're doing enough contact, but it's not.
That's what we get paid the big bucks. You just got to decide, you know, it's pretty obvious if a kid's driving in and they're pulling up and this person falls like a wet sack, you have to decide, well, that could be a flop or that could be a no call, okay? I'm not gonna make that an offensive foul, me. But there's a lot of gray, so.
On that previous slide, did it say that the lead has to crash?
The lead, yeah, the lead always has a crash. Just keep your eyes in the paint when you're the lead. All right. Okay. I put this in there because it's pretty much how we want to be, right? Where the center is free throw line extended. The trail is almost at the 28-foot line, and the leads almost as wide as the ball. This is a really good triangle. You don't want to see the trail way out here. You don't want to see the center way up here. I mean, this is a good visual to keep in your head. You don't need that. What's wrong with this picture? So is this the trail?
No, it's just a C.
That's the center, okay.
Mike, you can turn your front lights out for that on the video.
Say again?
I'm just turning these lights back out so you can see it better.
Yeah, that'd be helpful. It's not a bad idea.
Okay, but there's a couple things wrong with this picture. First, in three-person, no official should ever be in the middle of the floor. In the front court, this should never happen, okay? So that's number one. And number two, this person is obviously not seeing 10 and 2 because where he's standing, there's no way he can see all the players and he doesn't really see the referees. So this is just a new referee trying to learn three-person, okay? But what happens is the lead's over here. Hopefully they're going to rotate. There we go. And it all works out in the end, but we would have been in better position to start with if this guy who's really the C, or who's really the trail over here, was trailing the play, because this is in the center's area. So the center can deal with that, okay?
And it looks like the trail is all watching.
Completely.
Yes, he just did the JV game and he's stuck on his two-person mechanics.
That's still.
I think that's probably what happened, right? And we just, but again, he's ball watching because if he's aware of the bigger picture, he'll not probably be right in the middle of the center circle, right?
Stacey, how far do you want them to stop?
How far would I want them to do what?
And stop. So we're staying in the first zone. If I'm the trail coming up and the ball is literally on the other side of the court.
Right.
Over there, so they stay in that area and then just kind of like.
Yeah, you guys know about these zones, right? I didn't make a slide for this, but I'm going to see if. So if this is the court, there's like 3 zones. That's what you're talking about, right? And so if we're coming this way, we always, in the back court, and we're the trail, we want to be only 1 zone away, okay? So if the trail's here and the ball's here, then the trail should kind of come over here, stay attached to it. And this is a good habit to be in, even if there's not a press, because when there is a press and you're used to doing it, it'll be muscle memory, okay? You always want to be a zone away. Now, once the ball crosses midcourt here, and the ball ends up over here, the C has to pick that up right away, like right away. And so the trail, it's okay for the trail to be over here because that's not their ball anymore. Does that help? Okay.
It's also going to be a pregame thing. If Stacey and Mike and I are working, one of the things we're going to talk about is how do I know as a trail, how do I know as a C when you picked it up? And you have to be looking at your partner. You have to have the court awareness to look at your partner and still referee. Okay? So you have to communicate.
All right, tell me what you think about this coverage. The coverage isn't so bad. It's just, I included this one just to show you that. So look, watch this guy right here. You want to get free throw line extended. He's really far onto the floor, number one. And his feet never get still. You know, we have to move to a position adjust. But if we don't have to a position adjust, we don't want to move. And this guy isn't sure, obviously, what he's looking at, so he's just moving all over the place. Too far onto the floor and intermixing with the player. So you want to be away from the player so you don't interfere and so you don't get run over.
Don't touch players.
Don't touch players. All right. You know I'm signed in. Why is that up there? Okay, so I don't care about the call. Let's talk about the coverage on this play. Who has the ball matchup? Because there's a lead, so this is the trail. Right? So the trail has that. Trail still has that. What does the lead have? Which is the secondary defender? This guy. Okay? And as a help, this person can also be watching in there, but you know, this guy should pick a different help, maybe this person or this person who might be coming in to help. And look where the call comes from. You like it? I want you to look at the defenders. When is that a she? When the center makes the call, is there any angle that person has?
No.
None. They're completely straight line, back to body to back. This person needed to be more assertive and close down to get out of the way of this person, right? So close down to here and make that call. Unless the call's on the primary defender, and then, in which case the trail should have it. William.
Well, isn't that the primary defender? So they picked up the ball earlier? They're going to set them.
We'll go back.
Back up. So 25 is getting the ball. We don't see the trail yet. But
You know what I was talking about, staying connected to the play? This guy he should be moving up with the play to keep that look. So that's a problem.
So doesn't he just stay with that defender?
He should stay with that defender.
I was thinking it was his call.
Well, like I said, if the foul is on this guy, then it's his call. I don't care. I don't.
Oh, okay, sorry.
But I'm not disagreeing with you. Like this guy.
I thought the primary defender was awarded the foul.
Okay, and I think he fouled him personally, but like I said, I don't want to get into right or wrong on the play. I just want to make sure that if this guy was more aggressive, he'd have been in here and been more willing to both see and make that call. Okay, the lead is not being aggressive enough and needs to clear this mess to see the secondary defender.
Do you think that the center official, when they called that, they should have waited a beat
Yeah.
to see if someone else would have called it?
Because I don't think they should have blown it at all because I don't think they really, I think they guessed.
Well, I mean, if they really saw something, right?
Right. But yeah, they would be like the third whistle. I don't know if there's such a thing as a tertiary cadence, but that would be the one. Okay?
You're talking about primary and secondary cadence too. That foul is probably a secondary cadence. Right? I mean, the foul where they called it, the center's going to call it by secondary cadence, which is a little later. You're probably right.
Of course, on that view, the trail before it's going to be good.
And regardless, you should be backing down if you don't have angle.
Yeah.
Say that again?
And regardless, you should be backing down if you don't have angle.
You should be backing down. What do you mean?
As in not making a call
Right.
on
Backing off the play if you don't have a look,
I
yeah.
don't know, a rule of thumb for me is that I don't see it, I don't blow it. If I don't see it, I don't blow it.
And
If I missed it, I missed it, you know.
that's a good rule of thumb. If there's something so horrific that it needs a whistle, and it has to be awful, it has to be like something happens once or twice a year, then you might have to guess, but for the most part, just if you can't see it, stay off it. And eat your crow and let the coach get all over you, and you can't defend it. Like, what are you going to tell a coach? Well, don't ever say I thought to a coach.
Felt like a foul.
Yeah,
Seemed
it
like
felt,
a good
in my
time.
heart, it felt like a foul, yeah. That doesn't work. Anybody else? Okay, here's another one. Okay, so who's got what? So there's the lead. So this is the center trail, right? So who has this matchup? Center. Center's got that defender. What should lead be looking for?
The secondary, like in the red shorts, or the green shirt, or the green shirt.
Yeah.
one of them.
And then when the red shorts move that far out, the green shirt should be going to the lead.
Okay, so a couple of things going here. The lead is looking in the paint, which is normally a good thing, but since there's a drive, we want to look for secondary defenders. And I'm thinking that one of these two is going to be it. Probably this guy, since he's closest to the play. Okay. Okay, here's another thing. Should the lead rotate on this play?
Yeah.
Starts going,
Yes.
starts going, and then sees the drive's coming in. If that was me, I'm going to back out. Right now, this dude's going just hell-bent for the basket. So there's that. It's kind of a hard play. I'm not gonna completely say it was a screw up, but for me, I'd have probably backed out.
I don't think she sees the drive. She's looking in the paint there.
Maybe could rotate it
Side
a
where it's
little
there.
earlier, just a bit earlier.
But if
Totally blocked, I'm sorry.
say what?
It's a block.
I don't
Yeah, I
care.
think
I don't care what it is.
The point about staying, if she stays where she's at, where she was, close down, she's got a better angle to see not just the green player, but the player in the red shorts too, if they step in. When she rotates across, and she cut off her angle on the player in the red shorts. But staying where she was, she can see both players.
And like right now, the drive doesn't seem imminent.
Correct.
So she could have
Not there.
rotated.
So she's starting.
She could have rotated now.
She had rotated a little faster maybe, or?
the lead,
Maybe a little faster.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Now watch her physical rotation. Watch how she rotates. Watch her body. Anybody see anything weird about that? Or that they would do differently? I shouldn't say weird.
The play was in front of her, and she's turning her body away from the view.
Correct.
She's turning her shoulder in with the play now behind her. So if she'd have just even stayed at
Open.
Open, she picks up this play. But as she turns her shoulder away from the play, she's back. She's not gonna be able to-
Right. So this is just her rotation mechanics are bad.
are you talking about the lead?
The lead.
Yeah.
So let's just say here's the key, and I'm the lead. Okay. And the ball. Let's say the ball's out where that laptop is. Okay. When I rotate, I want to stay like this, look in the paint, keep going. I'm still open, and then I turn. Okay. Because I'm open all the way across. What she's doing is she's doing this, and as soon as she gets to the end of the lane line, and then she backs out. That's a really bad habit, okay? And in this case, because first of all, you don't want to backing up is slower than going forward, and backing up makes you prone to maybe wiping out, tripping, okay? You don't want to back up very often when you officiate. And I think in this case, if she would have come through like this, she's open to the whole play. Even if she's looking here, she's open to the whole play, and she's going to be able to make a better call. Does that make sense? So there's a lot going on in this play. Block or charge, I don't care. I mean, I do care, but she's certainly going to have a better, because look at her, she's staring in there. She actually looks like she's looking at the right person. And thank God somebody made a call. I don't care if it's right or wrong. But the reason, if this is a block and she comes up with a charge, it's because she was refereeing this. And all she saw was the end thing and the guys on the floor.
You want her to stop peripheral to play it right in front of her.
Uh-huh.
You want her to not back up as far as she goes to.
I would have liked her to keep going and be wider, so she'd have seen more of the whole play. All she sees is this kid standing there and ending up on his butt, and she doesn't really know what happened, so she freezes and doesn't call anything.
So Stacy, explain what, if you were the lead, when you would have rotated on this play, if you would have rotated.
I told you, I would have started and I would have backed out.
Okay, right.
That's just me. I'm not saying it's wrong to continue. If you go faster, if you stay open to the play, I still think this could be a good rotation. Okay, what else do we have here? Let's talk about curl plays. Does everybody know what a curl play is? Say, if you don't, just let me know. Curl play? Okay. So a curl play is one such that the offensive player goes through several officials' primaries. Not the lines on the floor, but just in general. So basket, I'm the post. I get the ball, so the lead's here, the trail's here. I get the ball, so lead has me. And then I start spinning this way. Lead can't see me anymore. Trail probably has to pick me up. And then I keep going. Center has to pick me up. So I'm curling, okay? And we have to realize when that happens that just because I'm standing in the lead's primary coverage area, at the end, the center has the best look. So the center needs to officiate me, okay? The rule with curl plays is curl away, stay away, okay? So here's a curl play. Jerky camera, sorry. See, it's in the leads area, but then the player moves away from the lead towards the center. Who has the best look at this? The center, absolutely. Okay, so
because they're curling towards the center.
right. So on curl plays, you kind of have to throw away the lines on the floor and just see what's happening with the ball handler.
And right there, you can see the lead getting blocked.
Yep. And again, it's discipline from the lead. You have to realize it's a curl play. It went to the center. They're going to get the first whistle. And if it's bad enough, I'll come in and get a secondary whistle. Okay? But this is a primary whistle. Okay?
So good rule of thumb is if they're curling towards you, take it.
Yeah. Absolutely. And if they're curling away from you, take a breath. Okay? Now let me see. I'll do one more. Oh, here's one. This is what I was talking about, getting under the shooter. See this guy? He's working really hard. Unfortunately, so when the play starts, well, we'll let it finish. So when the play starts, the guy's not in a bad position, right? He's pretty even with the ball handler, pretty even. And then the ball comes out here, and the trail realizes he's going to shoot, and he busts to get underneath the shooter so he can see the space. Okay? It looks like he's late, but I don't think he could have done it any differently. But that's what we have to do. Instead of being complacent and standing back where he started, we got to get underneath. That's what I meant by the underneath the shooter thing. Okay, I could.
Would you have been able to see the space better if you went onto the floor?
I don't want you to go onto the floor if you can help it. Does that make sense to everybody, why you don't want to be out there? These, I've been run over on the sideline and it wasn't pretty, so I don't want to be out there in the middle of all that. Okay? Okay, we could look at a million of these, but we're going to go on to the next section. All right. Current slide. Rotations. So rotations are what happens when the lead goes to the opposite side and the center goes to the trail and the trail goes to the center. We just kind of all move together. You got to talk about them before the game. Why you might rotate, what your triggers are, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is the key. Ball location. The one time I'll tell you as the lead, I'm not going to rotate if the ball's over there and there's 8 players here and 2 over there, because that center can handle it. But typically, if the ball swings that way, I'm going to start going. Okay? Here's another misnomer. So if there's a trap high on the center side of the floor, and the center has to go up towards midcourt to cover it, and the lead rotates, that doesn't mean that the center initiated the rotation. That just means that the lead decided that he had to go over and help, and the lead still initiated the rotation. It's a verbiage thing, but the center's never going to initiate. Okay? And if it happens that the center goes up towards midcourt to cover it, and the lead doesn't rotate, then the center has to go back down and be the center after that. This one I have a little bit of trouble with. Technically, yes, a rotation should only take place when all 3 officials are in the front court. But if the ball's moving fast and you're the lead and you have to make a rotation to be able to help on the play, just go. And the person who was the trail can hustle down and become the C. Okay? Rotation begins when lead moves laterally. The rotation doesn't end until they cross the other lane line. Some people are going to tell you differently. Some people say you can go as far as halfway into the key and back out. I will say I will go as far as the other lane line, but not across, and back out if the situation calls for it. If there's a shot, if something happens. Because what happens is if there's a shot and I continue that rotation, my crew probably is watching the play and not me, and then we're going to come down and kind of be all jacked up. And if that happens, then I realize it and I'll just come back across the floor. Does that make sense without a picture? Okay. See, rotation is not complete until the lead passes the far lane line. Lead has to officiate in the post even while moving across the lane. If the lead begins to rotate, ball is reversed, you don't have to finish. And there should rarely be 2 trails, but there may be 2 Cs. And what happens, I'll draw a little, I don't know if you can see this well, but so if there's if the lead's rotating this way and the C has a matchup that they don't want to move away from, and we have this C over here, for a minute we might have 2 Cs, right? Until this matchup dissipates, and then the center's going to move up. So you could have 2 centers, but you don't want to have 2 trails ever. Yeah?
Just your philosophy, if the ball's rotating a lot, if you move this side to side a lot, you're like cautioning it rotating too much. Like if it's a team that's moved the ball.
Yeah, if a team is playing a zone and that kind of offense is happening, yeah, there's yeah. Well, what I'll do is it depends how high the ball is. Okay, so if the ball is, so here, and you're here, and here's the free throw line. Okay, if the ball is just kind of, I'm just going to stay. But once the ball penetrates this, I'm probably going to start rotating. Okay, and then, if they pass right back up, then I'm going to back out. But I don't want to just be static. I want to start moving and have the ability to back out. right? I know what you're talking about. So you might take a lot of, but you're not rotating because it makes the crew crazy.
Half rotation, like when you back out, is that like frowned upon in any way? Because when I do it, I feel like I'm out of place, not doing something I should.
If you do what?
Like start rotating at the lead and then decide not to.
But there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know if somebody tells you something.
Nobody did. I feel awkward when I do it.
Yeah, and you know, the more you see their offense, and if you realize that this pass doesn't mean anything, you might hesitate a second. But what is it? I don't think it hurts to take a step in and come back. Okay?
If the ball settles on one side, the other lead would facilitate the rotation.
Absolutely. And what I tell people who haven't worked three-person, I'll tell them that, let's say this is a man defense, okay? So it's not like that little pass. There's actually screens and stuff going on. I'll tell this lead that once a pass is in the air going this way, I'm going to rotate. Because what happens is it'll get here, a lot of times it'll go here. And if you wait for this pass to complete and then you start to rotate, you're going to be rotating on the entry pass. Okay, so you want to get there ahead of the entry pass. But again, that's in a different kind of defense, a different kind of offense. This is just to get people who aren't used to rotating to rotate. Okay? We talked about this. If a trap occurs, C moves higher. Okay. If the lead doesn't rotate, center should go back. Yep, we talked about all that. So here we go. Lead comes across. They finish their refereeing, then they back out. This person goes down. Here's another thing I tell newer officials when they start. If you're this person, a lot of times what happens is this person misses the rotation, right? This guy goes across and this player is watching the ball or doing something, and then all of a sudden we have two trails and a lead. And then we go down to the other end and we have two leads, which is not pretty at all. Okay? So what I tell this person is, if the ball is over here, chances are if you were the lead, you would think about rotating, right? So if the ball is over here, I start sneaking down. I start moving down towards the C. If the rotation happens, I'm where I want to be. Beautiful. And if the lead doesn't rotate, I can always back out because the ball's here, and so it doesn't hurt if I'm creeping up. Does that make sense? Oops. That's okay. We're low on time. Transition coverage after rotation. So here we go. So we have the lead rotates. The lead is always going to become the trail, right? So when the lead rotates, the center becomes the trail. And then there's a transition. They're going to become the lead. This is the old trail, became the center, become the center. It all happens really fast, but it's kind of logical. After a while, it's just muscle memory. All right. Questions? Questions? We good? Good rotation. Okay, let's see what this one is. Hold on. I gotta kill the PowerPoint. Why is it doing that? What am I missing? There we go. Okay, somebody tell me why they think that's good or bad. Here's the trail. Is the lead where they need to be?
Yeah, the lead is on the side of the ball.
Okay? I might be a step, where's my doodad? I might be one more step out to the edge of the E since it was an inbounds, looking in, but not bad. Center's free throw line extended. So the ball's moving towards the middle of the floor and the lead's mirroring it, right? Stops it closed down. Good. Now the ball goes over there. As soon as the pass is initiated, the lead is moving. And we're good. Okay? Let me see.
Because they knew a driver could happen from the other side of that.
Sure. So, I mean, that's the whole point, right? We want to have the strong side be over there with the ball so we can have more eyes on the play.
Yeah, as you watch the offense there, you now had, even when the ball was kind of center top, you now had 3 offensive players on that far side. That's probably where I would have started to rotate. When you see the people are all moving that way.
Yep.
Because she was a little late on that entry pass, but it was good enough.
Yeah, did you notice at the end of her rotation she ran a little bit? Okay? Sometimes you have to run, or you have to move at a quickened pace, they say. But if your rotations are timely, you should be able to get there without running. Okay? If you're being decisive. Most of you have long enough legs that you can get over there in a couple steps anyways. Except for Mike.
One thing too is if you're the center and the lead rotates over, if you're seeing between plays, don't move. Don't rotate out to become the center. The trail. If you have a good look, you have lots of time to get where you need to be. If you're still refereeing that play, you can't move from this position, move back, and then create that position.
So just let it be two centers for one.
Yeah, exactly. If you're covering the ball and you have a good look, don't rotate.
Let's see. What do we think about this rotation? There's a couple things going on. What do you think about this rotation? Anybody? Too late?
Center was coming too far off the floor.
Where's the center? Oh, they're late in the picture, okay.
Well, I've got the lead at the bottom right.
Oh, I see what you're, okay. We'll let this run around a little bit. Okay, so the ball's in the center side of the floor and they're really slow getting down there, but it's a long pass down the floor. It happens, okay? So lead's where she needs to be. The ball has clearly settled over here and she should start going. The lead, okay? Now this guy is staying with the play, which is great, but I think he wants to be a player. So he needs to get away from the play and just referee. Okay? Lead still too slow. Still slow. Still slow. I mean, that's taken a long time, right? And what do you think about her, the mechanics of her rotation after what we just talked about?
Turn to 45.
Seems quite close.
Well, she's close. So she wants to go out closed. When she rotates, she wants to be as wide as the ball is, or a step wider.
Yeah, she's just chilling near the baseline.
Now here she is. Look at her back out. She's backing out and refereeing over her shoulder. See that?
Not seeing the play.
And so she needs to go forward, shoulders kind of forward all the way to here before she turns around. This is hard to referee like this. Yeah, and I don't know if she's going to look in the paint and see nothing, and so she might broaden her vision. But the bottom line is she picks this up. Let me go back here. While the center is still officiating it. So the center has this. That's the center's play. That's the center. That's the center. That's the center. That's still the center because she's not there yet. And now she's officiating the play before he's done with it. She needs to let him get done with it. Maybe she can pick these guys up or find something else. Okay, don't move your eyes out there too soon. Because now we have 4 eyes in this little section, and all the rest of this mess is for the other guy.
Should Lee have gone wider still?
Oh, absolutely. The lead should be almost to the 3-point line. Does that make sense? Yeah. Let's see what else we have here. What do you think about that rotation?
Rotated during the shot.
Correct. So he takes a step. Come on, finish.
Why with that?
Say again?
We have 2 referees pointing. Like,
Okay, so the lead's over there. Pass comes here. Now the lead should start thinking about rotating. Actually should start rotating. But he doesn't start rotating until the shot goes up.
that's what I'm saying.
He's kind of hidden.
He shouldn't be rotating now.
Yeah, when the guy, takes his first rotation step when the player's shooting the ball. And even if you take your first step then you just have to stop. Okay, because,
Can you go over the times when you shouldn't?
yeah, who can tell me? Because it was on a previous slide. What are the 3 times? Arlie?
Skip pass,
Skip pass,
drive,
Shot.
or shot.
imminent drive, and imminent shot. Right? So back away. Wow. What's that about? Does.
What, ink show up?
No, it's time for the joust.
Everybody stand.
All right, I want you guys to watch the center when this play starts again. Okay. But then he keeps coming. Okay. He kind of forces the lead to come. Now the lead should have been over there. That's fine. But he kind of forces the whole issue.
The center.
The center does. I don't think he needs to come out as high. He could.
Stacy, can you go back just a little bit?
I can. I'm going to put it on slow so we can.
Okay. Does he have a good look right now? Does he have a good look right now?
Yes, he does.
Does he have a good look right now? Keep going, keep going. Now, does he have a good look?
No,
What's he supposed to be watching?
the secondary defense.
Does he have a good look?
Who said secondary defense? This guy should be watching the primary defender.
Right.
Yeah, but he has no angle.
I understand that, but he should be watching the primary, not the secondary.
Right.
So he's trying to get an angle. He's trying really hard. But instead of coming up here, this might be one of the very few times where I would say step here, get that look, and then come back. Because what he does is he just starts coming and he just keeps coming. And he's forcing a rotation that might have happened anyways, but doesn't necessarily have to happen. Okay? He certainly can't get under the play because there's this thing, I forget what they call it in FIBA. There's a name for it, my FIBA ref. Cross step. Did you ever hear cross step? No? Okay. It's probably different in Polish, right? So when a player's driving this way, and you keep, and here's the defender, here we are. And if you keep moving with them, are you improving your angle at all? Never. But if they're going this way and you're going the other way, you're gonna eventually find an angle. So he realizes that in this play, he realizes that he can no longer go with them, right? So he's got to go the opposite way of the ball. So he does the right thing, but he just needs to stop at some point and maybe take a step on the floor. That's all. Because I think he could almost, if he took a step like right here, he'd see this. But he just assumes that he's going to be the trail and he backs out. And the crew does well to accommodate him, but it's not necessarily ideal. All right, So tell me what you guys see with the lead. It's like, where's Waldo?
Hey, man, that's me after 6 games.
No, he's not even quiet.
Oh, there's the lead.
Okay. So what makes him back out here?
Great question.
I have no idea.
I think he thought that the player was going for a drive.
But even still, where he was wasn't bad, right? So if the ball's on this half of the floor, these 2/3, this guy should be in close down, the end. So he should be in the picture right now. He gets there, he should still be there, he should stay there, he should stay there, he should stay there, he should stay there, because the ball's still in the middle third. And it hasn't really settled on the other side, so this is a great position for him.
So when that ball handler, when he picked up the ball, he was facing the trail, but he pivoted and was looking the other way. Which way do you think he's going to go? He's probably going to C side and not backing out, chances. So instead of him backing out, he should be aware that he may have to go.
Well, if he was here,
Yeah, if he was there.
I would say he should go on the pass. And when the ball's here, I'm saying this person should be starting to move to the free throw line extended, which he's doing, see? And then he has to come back out because the lead's still in the corner. Trail. Let's see. See, we got 2 trails and we have a guy in the middle of the, this is really ugly. Okay. What's wrong here? Somebody help me out.
That guy's ball watching.
This guy?
No, the other guy.
This guy?
Yeah.
I say they're both ball watching. Okay, so right now we have a lead down here and a trail and a center. Okay, so the ball comes over to the center side and the lead moves to close down. That's fine. That's good. Now the pass goes to the other side. Starts coming, right? What's this guy looking at?
Whole play. He's not looking at his other official.
No, he's not. And again, even if he doesn't see the other officials, if the ball goes to the center side, again, he should start moving down. Just start. But he never does, and he's all over this play. He's so over this play that even though the other two, okay, and what about this guy? What's his positioning? So this is the inside outlook that we don't want to have, right? So where could he be to get a good look?
On the sideline.
Over here, right? He could see right through that.
Well, he was backing out from, he was watching that play, and the lead rotated, he backed out from that matchup. When I think he should have stayed on the play, but down there in the corner, you can't really see what's going on the video, but he's backing out while the ball's still right down there.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
Well, he's moving away from that.
Yeah.
That play.
Yeah, so that's all. He should still be to C. He should still be over here somewhere.
Yeah, instead of going stronger C, he goes to
He's backing away from the play, which makes you not inclined to call anything. And yeah, and again, needs to stay sideline oriented 45 degrees this way. Okay? But this is the guy that intrigues me here. And he's probably the nicest person in the world. And look at this. Woo! Yeah. Be wrong, be strong, baby. Oh God, we've all done this. When I started doing 3-person, there was a foul right in front of me, like here, and I was so worried about where I was going that I didn't even see it. I mean, it happens. It's humbling. Let's see. It happens to all of us. Again, what's the lead doing here? That it'll come up again. So he's in close down, good position to be, right? Ball's opposite him. He's trying so hard to get over here, but this is one of the three, right? The imminent drive. If he keeps coming this way and this guy keeps coming this way, he is absolutely zero help because they're almost going to be on top of each other. Okay? So he should have backed out. And instead, and also, what is he refereeing? The primary matchup, right? He's not looking for secondary. So he's zero help to the crew right now. This person's doing a good job just staying there and refereeing the play. Never backs out or anything, just follows the play. But then this happens. And
He's on the wrong side.
and I don't, try not to do that. It's okay to back out. It's okay to back out. And yeah, he had a whistle and that's good, but he could have had he could have been more, he could have helped his crew more by staying where he was. And you see he did that back out thing again too. Let's see, when he rotates, he comes across and he backs out. I don't want to see that in anybody's video that I look at. No backing out. Okay, what is this one?
I was gonna say, because the one is make sure, I believe you have that 45-degree angle, so a lot of people are like, I get there, right, I have that.
Well, if you're coming across, you still have 45 degrees, right? You can still referee in the paint, but you're keeping your peripheral, so because the ball's over there, that's why you're rotating, right? So it makes, like, you can have better peripheral vision going like this than going like this, because your peripheral, you lose this. I'm not sure what this one, oh, I know what this one is. Is that you, Steve?
It looks like it, doesn't it?
So check this out. How many players are with Steve? A lot. Like 8 are in his primary coverage area. I'm thinking, and the ball's over here, I'm thinking the lead probably should rotate. And
Because you just have so many players on that side of the floor.
so, according to the lines on the floor, whose primary call is this call? Not the, you know what I'm saying, the coverage lines.
Center.
But I'm saying he only had 4 defenders to worry about, so maybe he wasn't looking at that one. I'm being facetious, Steve. So in this case, the lead's really slow to rotate. Should have been over there long before, okay? And that could be a secondary defender, who knows? It was just too much for this one guy to be able to referee all that, okay? Or gal. All right, let me back up. And where are we? We're up to, no, we did that. PCAs. There we go. Is everybody okay so far? You need to get something to eat or drink, or we good? Okay. Again, these are just a few extra bits for the people who haven't done this before. On 3-point shots, the lead should never mark. There's going to be times when they have to, but most of the time they shouldn't, because they're not covering outside the 3-point line, okay? So the trail's going to have everything to the opposite lane line, and the center's going to have what remains. And the way it works is whoever sees the attempt marks it, and then if it goes in, then both the outside officials are going to give the make, okay? Okay, rebounds. Generally, you want the lead to find the closest matchup to them and referee it. The center and the trail should both close down, like take a step and take a step like we talked about earlier. If you have the shooter in your primary coverage area, you don't worry about rebounding until you referee the shooter go up and come down. Okay? If you're an outside official and the shot goes up here, you want to look, is it a 2 or a 3 real quick? And then you want to watch players go up, come down. You want to look for point of contact fouls up in the air. You want to make sure the shooter can come back down to the floor without getting, with a space to land, I should say. And then when all that's done, then you can go and help with rebounding. Okay? We tend to move away from, like once the shot goes, we tend to move our eyes away, and then those fouls happen where kids are on the floor and we don't know who caused what. Okay? Stay with your shooter. Basket interference and goaltending, okay, are going to come from the outside officials. And if you're watching a shooter go up and down here, then this guy is going to have to referee the basket interference or whatever, okay? It's hard to referee that from underneath. Okay. Lead has the match up here. And again, you're just trying to divide the floor up so that you can get the best coverage possible. Sometimes a foul right here, the best person is this person. You know why?
Angles.
Angles, right? If there's a back here and a back here, that's all these guys are seeing. They can't help, but this person is, and when you're out here and you realize that you have the best look in the house, it probably means these guys can't see it. So just give it a tick and then come in and get it. Close in so it doesn't look like you're calling from Tahiti. You know, just get in there. Last second shot, opposite table is responsible of the outside officials. The lead can assist if there's a fast break. You know, we do that. People, again, this is a pregame thing. You'll talk about how are we going to communicate who has the last second shot. So you'll say, we're inside a minute. We'll say, I have the shot. Whatever it is you do, just so that your crew knows a way to communicate about who has the shot. Okay? All right, a couple more clips. You guys falling asleep yet? No. We're good? Okay. All right. This one. Okay, I know it's hard because we can't see all the officials, but we know the lead's here, so this is the trail and this is the center, right? Whose three-point shot is that to mark? That's the trail, clearly, right? But we have a double mark. So what happens if it's right, like right here, and it's right between their two areas, we're going to have double marks sometimes, right? So if we have a double mark, who should keep the shot and who should go to rebounding coverage? What do you think? Trail should keep the shot. Why?
Trail's further back.
Well, that's true, but what else? Steve?
Because that's what we're going to pregame.
Because that's what we're going to pregame. I'll give you a prize. I'll give you a donut. Give me another reason why. Okay, but if the C thinks it's in his primary, then that doesn't work. I'm looking for a specific answer.
The C is technically, I guess, closer to the ball size and stronger side of the rebounds, closer to the rebound action.
You're getting warmer.
Center can offer an opposite angle to the rebound as the lead.
You get a donut too. Okay, yeah. So we want to have that coverage from both sides of the floor. And so the C should just drop it, and that should be in the pregame if we have a double mark. The C should drop and look for rebounding coverage so we have it from both sides, and the trail stay with the shooter. So you have one of these people when I referee, when people give me a rule, I want to know why, and that to me makes sense. So I'll tend to remember it. All right. Watch the trail. What could the trail do better? Do what?
Stay engaged.
Stay engaged. That's yours truly, moi. And there I am bailing out like, oh, shot goes up. See you guys. Yeah, just stay put. I don't know anything sometimes. And I think this is the opposite. I think this is the trail actually doing what they're supposed to do. Shot goes up. See the trail? Just still until we have a conclusion. Okay? It's hard to do sometimes.
I just want to say how cool it is. They've got a scoreboard on the table.
I know, right? Watch the center. Who's closest to us right here? Do you like it or not?
Why not just stay? It's the wrong thing for the right reason. He allowed it back again in a way, but he was backing up because he assumed that there was going to be rotations as the ball came to the side.
Anybody else? Okay. I like the fact when you're the center and you see a shooter in your area, you should adjust to where you can see the shot. If they get the ball, you want to be where you want to be to see to referee, right? So he's doing a good thing by realizing he needs to get on one side or the other. So that's the good thing. But I would prefer he get underneath. This is the thing I was talking about earlier. Try not to get in the habit of going high all the time. That's kind of a two-person leftover, right? We wanted to get high all the time. And in this case, I think he would do a better job getting underneath. The good news is he gets a look, but look how high he is. He's not going to help on rebounds at all. And now he thinks he's the trail. There we go. Okay? So that was a kind of a good and bad. What is this one? No, I don't know why I included this. Oh, there we go. This is just good discipline on the part of this. I think that's Leslie. I think, so she's the center official. Shot goes up. So he's probably looking at these guys right here, I'm hoping, right? She's got this, and this person is kind of looking here. And she stays with those people, so when this gal gets plowed, she has a call. It's just got good eye discipline. What'd I do? I didn't touch her. I swear. All right, a couple more sections. I think. So we've talked a little bit about transition before. This is kind of what the picture looks like. In the backcourt, trail is 2 steps outside and a half step behind, or a step behind, or you just want to make sure you're behind and to the side, okay? And we talked earlier about when the ball crosses midcourt and it's in the C's area, the C has to pick it up, even if it's really high. That doesn't mean you have to move up to midcourt, you just have to pick the ball up, okay? Okay, anybody ever hear of the trail trench? That's a Leslie Smith term. She should copyright it. Okay, when you're the trail, when you're the old lead, and we're going this way. Okay, we're going towards the bottom here. Let me take this. So now you're going to become the trail if we're transitioning, right? If the ball's over here, and you continue to stay in the trail trench, which theoretically runs right along the sideline, then you're not going to be able to referee very well. It's what we talked about before with the 3 areas on the floor. You want to get within 1. And so you want to get in the habit of not staying in this trail trench and actually getting out on the floor and refereeing what you have to referee, okay? The center should not be in a hurry to leave. If there's pressure, if all these players are in the back court, the center's first instinct when we start is to just, because we're used to being the trail, and we're used to having to get behind all the players this way. But in this, when we have 3 of us, you don't have to be in a hurry to go anywhere because we have this person here, okay? So I used to always take a step up and then come back, which looks ridiculous. And so somebody suggested to me that if I had to move, maybe I should take a step back towards the sideline so I can assess what's going on. Is there a press? Is there not a press? Before I took off down the floor, okay? What is the key? Somebody tell me. When do I want to stay back and help, and when is it okay for me to bust down the floor?
Stay with the last defender when they cross the free throw line.
That's one way of doing it. Anybody else?
There's more than one matchup there in the backcourt.
I know, I'm talking theoretically. Like if
If there is, then.
if there's more than one matchup?
Yeah, so, the new trail's gonna take the first ball matchup. If there's something else going on, another pair of people in that backcourt, then you should stick around and be ready to appreciate that.
I think it depends on the game. It kind of depends on what kind of press and what kind of players and what kind of hotheads. But generally for me, if there's 2 or 1 or 2 defenders in the backcourt, I'm going to leave and I'm going to say the trail can cover them. Again, if you have players that you need to keep eyes on, you might change that in your pregame or at halftime or whatever. But generally, I say 2 defenders. But there's also a school of thought that says, that I just learned this past weekend, that says you should stay here until the last defender crosses the free throw line going down the floor. Now, I haven't tried that yet. It might be something you want to play with like in the preseason, see if that, because I'm still thinking there still could be, even when the last defender crosses, there still could be action going on that you might want to stay back for. So I'm not sold on it yet, but it's just something you might want to play with, okay? Just remember that when you're the center official and you are hanging back because there's a press, that you have to referee sideline to sideline in the middle here, okay? So if there's a crash here, this person sees backs, this person sees backs, the only person who can see anything is you. So you have to be willing to close down a little bit and make the call, okay? It's a cool call to make when you get to make them. It doesn't happen that much.
So what you're saying is on that play, the center's going to have a primary whistle?
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay, so what I put on this thing is the center starts at the free throw line to assess. I'm going to amend this, not greater than 4 players, but if greater than 2 defenders in the backcourt, hang back. Doesn't matter how many offensive players are back there. If there's 1 defender, who cares? Okay? And then the lead goes as far back as they need to go, the new lead, to box in the defender. So if it's like this is a good spot right here. You don't want to run all the way back here because you're not going to help. And then everybody just kind of slides down as the play occurs. You good? We good?
So as the lead goes, slide down. I guess 5's there, but if 5's coming down, you don't ever want like 5 to get behind you.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you want to stay with them. I mean, you don't want anybody creeping back here, but if they're all up here, this is a good spot. All right, a couple more videos. How we doing for time, okay? It'll be close. All I have left is switches.
We have space till 11:30.
I know, but these guys have lives, you know. I know. All right. Or both, huh?
Not allowed that either.
No, I don't want to see that.
I was asking a question, a leading question.
See, I should rename these things more neutrally. Okay, so tell me about the C. Bail in too early. He should have stayed at the free throw line extended while he's assessing. Right now he's assessing while he's moving. Okay? And look, he even left. Even after he assessed, he was like, brother, you got 8. Okay, don't do that to me. I'm too old. Okay, check this one out. See ya. There's 3, 4 defenders, and the C's over here somewhere. Again, when the shot goes up, just take a second. Just stop. Just take a second and look, and decide you're going to stay or you're going to go. How many defenders?
One.
Red has the ball. There's only 1 defender, and he's still helping. No, actually, he's watching the ball. He's not helping at all. He's just watching the ball. Okay? So again, if there's only 1 defender back here, this person should be busting to get up to receive the play. Still watching the ball. See, we all do this once in a while, but, well, you know, when you're watching the ball the whole way, you're going to get the foul. Let me see, foul. Right? Because you're all over it. Look. How about that, huh? That's like 2 donuts right there.
That boost?
Yeah. You can't see him, but he's hanging around. He sees this happening, and he's hanging around, and he's helping. Beautiful.
That's a rather obvious one.
Okay, what do we got here? How do we like to see?
Take it back if you want. Right now.
The trail can take that.
The trail can handle this. This is what he needs to worry about.
Yeah.
And actually, he doesn't need to worry because they're just all going down the floor. Okay, see if I got any more good ones. Press.
On that clip there, did anyone call a foul, or did they just leave it going?
And this last one right here?
The one that you just played, there was no foul call.
I don't see one here.
Because the guy there looked like he reacted, and then gets over.
Don't talk yourself out of it. Do you think there could be a foul here?
Right there.
Yeah, that's an arm bar.
I'm going to call a push off.
But even with that contact with the defender, he's like,
What?
like,
But who caused this? Who caused the contact?
The defender puts his arm on him first.
the trail didn't have the look.
Let's see.
You're watching. Defender now. Ready?
Right there.
Okay, okay,
I'm not penalized.
okay. So if you're going to call one, I got you. I got you. You guys are good, man. My eyes are getting old.
I mean, in that position, the C clearly has the best angle for it, because you look at that, the lead, in transitions got their back to the play.
But the C shouldn't even be there.
Yeah.
Even if it works out in that one instance that it's a good thing, that they have a good look.
So I do have a question on that play though. Would you call that? Because when I watch games, I see this happen all the time. The defender grabs the offensive player just for a second, and it's a play on.
Yes.
Right? And I don't know. I know you can't call ball, but
So this is not in my 3-person coverage, but I'm going to go on my little ball handler dribbler. Did you ever hear BHD? That's the abbreviation, ball handler dribbler. There's absolutes that we have to call a foul, and we don't do a good job, right? Stayed hand. Like if you put a hand on, you don't take it off. That's absolute. Even if there's no reaction, if there's no effect. 2 hands, arm bar, okay? One of these, like they keep harassing him, kind of like that. So yeah, I think if we call that, then this shit all clears up. And it's hard because some of the old dogs, they don't call it because they're like, it's Metro, we're not gonna, they're athletes. Well, they're athletes, yeah, and they will learn that they don't have, that they're gonna be on the bench if they keep doing that. So I encourage all you guys, this is one of my things. We did it at the college level, and initially the coaches all resisted, and now if we don't call them, they're all in our backs because it's improved the game, it lets the offenses set up, it lets freedom of movement, it's beautiful, but the whole crew has to buy in, and that's the hard part. So just try it. Try to bring it up in your pre-games, try to bring it up, make a couple calls, see what the crew does with them. You can't be the Lone Ranger and be the only one calling them, but you can make an effort, okay? There's my soapbox. Are we good? Ha, ha, ha. How do we like the center?
Okay.
Center's good? Center's running with the pack? Perfect. I like it. What do you? I know, right? Now we're all going to be twitchy wanting to call those flops. Okay. Okay. So rotations are when the lead moves across the paint and the other two adjust. Switches are what happen when there's a foul called and we swap positions on the floor. Okay? So on fouls, the calling official is going to go table side to report, and they're going to stay there most of the time. In the front court, they're going to stay there. Okay? But the official originally table side goes and fills the vacancy from the calling official. This is all front court. Okay? Obviously, the third official is going to stay where they are. And if the calling official was table side, there's no switch. This is big for people who haven't done this. Instead of spinning around like a top, just stop and see where nobody is and just go there. Okay, so here's just an example. The lead calls a foul. This is the table right here. So goes to report it, and then just stays table side. And this person fills in their spot.
This is no free throws.
This is, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay.
That's either way. Okay? So that's pretty basic. So now the lead calls it from opposite the table, right? They're going to go up, report it. They're going to stay there. C comes down, becomes the lead. This is on a just putting the ball in from the sidelines. Obviously, if this is a foul, a shooting foul, then this person is going to be the trail after they report, right? And this person will be the lead down here, and we'll shoot the free throws. Okay?
So if there's foul shots on the lead calls opposite the table side, the trail becomes the center?
The trail becomes the center, yeah.
Yeah, the center becomes the lead.
This person becomes the trail, right? Because we're going to shoot free throws, and this person becomes the lead. Okay? Offensive foul calls. Okay? So we're going to go the other way. No free throws. Everyone stays in the same positions they were. The only difference is the calling official. Let's say it's the old lead who calls a player control foul in the paint. They still have to go to the reporting area and report and then go back. Everybody else stays where they were. Okay? If we're going to shoot free throws, it wouldn't be on an it's not going to be on an offensive foul, but it's going to be if for some reason there's a foul in the back court and we're going to have to go and shoot free throws. Bonus, right? Then the calling official is going to become the trail. So we're not all going to stay where we were. The trail is the calling official is going to become the trail, and everybody else is going to adjust as if we were in the front court. Okay? Free throws. Calling official becomes the trail, observes all action. For the most part, the trail is going to be looking to see if people are going in early. okay? Lead administers, bottom lane space and 3 spaces on the opposite side, that's the same. C has responsibility for the shooter's feet, okay? And again, free throws are attempts, right? So that we're going to take a step down towards the end line. Yeah, so the trail wants to be close enough to be able to actually help referee the rebounding. So we don't want to stand at the division line. We want to stand where we're supposed to be standing.
What if there are players on both teams about the opposite basket, like down the other end?
Okay, that's an exception.
So you use one of those.
If that's me and they're just kind of hanging out, I'll probably back up to more towards that midcourt line and kind of keep an eye on them, okay? But for the most part, if everybody's in the front court, I want you to be engaged with the play.
I'm sorry if it was on the previous slide, but if you're C opposite the table and you've got the call and you report it, and you go over to the reporting area, you do have a switch or you don't?
On the previous slide, what was the?
I'm not sure if it was on the previous slide.
So say this again.
So if you're C.
And you're in the front court.
And you've got, you whistle a foul.
And you're in the front court?
And you're in the front court.
Okay.
And you go to report it into the reporting area, do you switch or do you stay?
If the center is
I
on,
report a foul, I call a foul.
if the center's opposite the
From same
table,
position.
if the center's opposite the table, then they're going to report it and they're going to remain on the table side.
Yeah, so then you switch. Yeah.
Yes. If they're the C and they call it table side, they're not going to go anywhere.
Right.
Okay. They might be the trailer or they might be the C, but they're going to stay table side.
Right, okay, I'm just saying, if you're opposite side of the floor, you call it, you are going to.
Yeah. Lead approximately 4 feet from near lane line. Though, you know, even though you see on TV, you see the NBA, you see college, on the first free throw, you see the lead kind of standing in that lower lane space. That's not National Federation. We want to be off the floor and on the off the end line. Okay? Are we good? And the center just needs to be where they can see the people they have to referee. Okay? Typically, what I do is that where I stand, my visual is if this is the 3-point line, and I'm the center over here on a free throw, I try to stand kind of where this. If you draw, I try to stand right there. I find that I can see everything I need to see. Okay? Not everybody's the same. I will say that if I'm whoever's the trail over here, I don't want them standing because they're the ones that call the foul, right? And this coach might be in their ear. So I like this person to stand like 3 or 4 feet out onto the floor. So if the coach is going to say something that more than this person can hear it, and it's easier to justify a technical foul. Because if he just whispers sweet nothings in your ear and you whack him, the coach is like, what'd I do? I didn't do anything. Coaches are sly. Okay. Substitutions. Okay, so on substitutions, the whistle should always come from table side. Okay, so we're in the front court, there's a dead ball, and there's subs at the table. Whoever's at the closest to the table should blow them in, except if that's the trail who's going to inbound the ball from there, then the C is going to blow them in. And the reason for the exception, the way I remember it, is we each have a job. The trail's job is to inbound the ball, so the C's going to whistle in the subs. Okay? In all other instances, the whistle's going to come from the table. If we're in transition, and like let's say after a free throw, the trail official is going to blow them in. They're going to look across the floor to make sure the center picks them up to control them. And then the trail's going to bust down the floor, and the center is going to control the officials or control the subs until they're complete.
So you don't want the C to take that whole sequence and then they just bust it?
Say that again?
So I thought they wanted the C to take that whole sequence of the substitution on the free throw for going that way afterwards. So the lead up in the trail will blow the whistle and say, hey, I got a sub, and then we can as a C with their hand into it. So
Yeah. So don't, and when you blow the whistle, don't just assume the center is going to pick them up. Like, make a visual with the center to make sure they have them before you bust down the floor. Does that make sense?
That communication they were talking about between officials.
Yeah, so I put that.
Why would you be busting down the floor if it's a dead ball? It's a substitution.
Well, you just shot the last free throw, and we're going to be heading down the floor. So you want to get down the floor to accept the play as it comes to you.
Right.
Okay, you don't want to be hanging out at midcourt, okay?
Yeah.
It's just to put you in a good position. You know, I don't know, you've probably heard, some of you have probably heard this. You know, the NBA, they do all these analyses and studies, and what percentage of time does this work or that work? And the percentage of wrong calls we make when we're moving is huge. If we're still when we make a call, we're much more accurate. So if you can be down there and the play's coming at you and you're already there and you don't have to move, you're probably going to make a better call. Okay? Yeah, after last free throw, trail with pass control to center. Throwing with ball going from back to front court, whistle from table side, pass control. So that's, I said all that. There's a lot of words here, but okay? Ta-da! Yeah, who was that clown on the right side?